Big time fight at lightweight. We have Islam Makhachev taking on Drew Dober. And listen, this is a weird one because Islam Makhachev was due for his first his first fight night headliner against Rafael dos Anjos. Makhachev out on short notice. Paul Felder gets the call up, has the mustache. You know the whole story there. But Makhachev now draws Drew Dober, and it's weird because for Islam Makhachev, you look at the 5 on in, and we're talking about decent names. Nick Lentz, Gleison Tebow, Cajun Johnson, Arman Zarukian on short notice, Davi Hamosh. None of them ranked, but all of them wins, and the Zarukian one was close. If you look at Drew Dober, he beats John Tuck, and he outworks them the whole time, loses to Beneil Dariush, beats Polo Reyes, beats Nasrat Haqparast, knocks out Alexander Hernandez. Matt, what do you think about Alexander Hernandez?
I recently did a recap show, and I believe you go to minute 44 on the dot of that recap show. You can find out for yourself, but I'm not a big fan.
Not a big fan. All right, so Matt's not a big fan of Alexander Hernandez, but Drew Dober totally outboxed him, had him dead to rights for about 30 seconds, just continued to hammer away and throw hooks. Drew Dober, very good stand-up. A guy that, you know, if you asked me, what, a year and a half, 2 years ago, if Drew Dober would A, be at lightweight, B, maybe even in the UFC, I'd sit there and scratch my head because he had a hard time making the weight. California State Athletic Commission recommended the move up to welterweight. He stuck it out at lightweight, and it's been good since then, really. And for Drew Dober, good stand-up. He's really tricky to try and get a read on. It's hard to move in on Drew Dober. For Islam Makhachev, a lot of long, drawn-out strikes. Like, not drawn-out, but very long strikes. You've seen him and known him in the UFC for a very long time. That's the thing. These guys have been around the block for a long time. If you look at it for Islam Makhachev, he had a huge win in his debut. And then the only loss that he has is a really, really big-time loss. Like a big, big loss.
Islam Makhachev has had the oddest career at lightweight, and there's been a lot of weird careers there. But again, you look at the guys who he's beaten, none of them really stand out.
Well, he beat Leo Kuntz in his debut.
He did beat Leo Kuntz, who tweets a lot now, I guess, and lost to a guy who tried to lose the fight on purpose. But anyways, he's had a lot of good opportunities in the UFC against some upper echelon competition. But either he gets hurt or his opponent gets hurt, or there's always some kind of circumstance kind of around a big Islam Makhachev fight. And he was a 5-1 favorite over RDA when he was supposed to fight him. Like, you have to realize he was probably going to beat Rafael dos Anjos.
Big favorite in this one, too.
Exactly. And if he beat RDA back then, you're only on to great things afterwards. Like, RDA right now, he's probably going to fight like a Michael Chandler or someone in that top 5 of lightweight. That could have all been Makhachev's shine, but unfortunately wasn't able to compete that night. And now he's fighting Drew Dober, who fights a little bit like RDA. He does like to use his wrestling offensively and counter wrestling. But the weird thing about Dober is his last 3 wins are really impressive and they're nice, but there has been sort of a story of 2 different careers with Drew Dober. And that Beneil Dariush fight was really the difference between it. And I would say he went into the Dariush fight with his newer style that is much more aggressive. Because go back and watch the Dariush fight. Drew Dober's having great success on the feet. He lands a big shot up top. He lands a beautiful left hook to the body that actually hurts Dariush quite bad. But the problem is we talk about get out of jail free cards. Beneil Dariush, one of the best ones. He's got some of the best jiu-jitsu. And once he was able to take the fight to the mat, Dariush, he can always think 1, 2, 3 moves ahead of his opponent. You could tell that Drew Dober wasn't ready for that kind of test at that stage of his career. And then you look at now. Drew Dober, beautiful boxing, really good timing, and he doesn't bite on feints a lot. He knows what he's good at and what he's not good at, and I think that's one of the most important things an MMA fighter can have. Drew Dober's not going to go out there and try to throw, you know, a very body kick heavy attack and look to take his opponent down all of a sudden. Drew Dober, great takedown defense, really good boxing on the feet, but I do think his power is a little bit deceptive. I think a lot of people look at his recent knockouts and TKOs and think, oh, Drew Dober has good power in the lightweight division. I think if he catches you clean, he can put you down, but I do think the story of Drew Dober's career, he's more decision-oriented than he is knockout-oriented, and for Makhachev, the only time I've even seen him lose was that one knockout loss, and other than that, other than the Zarukian fight where Arman was able to grapple with him a little bit and keep the fight close on the mat, he kind of dominates everyone else, and there haven't been too many close Islam Makhachev fights, which makes it hard for me to see what Drew Dober can do to really make this an even fight. If he brings it up to the feet, I think Makhachev has enough power to sort of make this fight even a bit when it does come to the striking exchanges. So for me, I look more to what can Drew Dober do to counter the attack of Makhachev throughout this fight.
If you go back and watch the fight that Makhachev had against Adriano Martins, it's against a southpaw striker with tons of power. Martins, as Makhachev goes in, lands his beautiful right counter, and it's amazing, and knocks him like it's just a flash knockdown. Referee runs in, Makhachev gets up, slams his hand, he's mad, whatever. But you look at Makhachev, 7-1 so far in the UFC since he came in 2015. For Dober, he came in 2013, been around the block, and that's the thing. I mean, he's taken on some good names. You look at those last three and you talk about them. Big prospect in Nazareth Hakpras, but as well, Alexander Hernandez, Polo Reyes, wins over Frank Camacho, John Tuck, Josh Berkman, a little long in the tooth. Losses to Dariush, OAM, PFL Zone, Efrain Escudero, Nick Hine, and his debut, Sean Spencer. He did have a fight against Leandro Silva. Wish we saw more Leandro Silva in the UFC. The weird thing for me and Drew Dober, and this was a big talking point, is the fact that Camacho, Dariush, and Hernandez all took him down. And I would expect in a fight like this, if Islam Makhachev is going to win, just rush in for the takedown. Just go as hard, as wrestle heavy as you can. And you look at the stats, 93% takedown defense for Makhachev, 68% takedown offense, 3.4 takedowns average per 15 minutes. And in the striking, if you just see the differential, it's like, oh, okay, well, he's an all right striker. 2.1 strikes landed per minute. 0.76 strikes absorbed per minute. It's insane because he's normally on the ground and in total control of every fight.
This could be an amazing fight. I really think it is. And you kind of stole what I was going to say. Here's the thing for Makhachev. If he is getting the better on the feet, he isn't going to be one of these fighters who just gets trigger happy with his hands. He realizes that, yes, I can hit my opponent, but I will go for the takedown. I'm not just going to start landing shots and become a boxer overnight. He knows what he does well. Same thing with Drew Dober. This is a really fun fight, but again, I just think Makhachev... Oh, I completely forgot what I was going to say. The point that you kind of stole was that Drew Dober has Alexander Hernandez hurt. Hernandez still took him down. And yes, Drew Dober immediately gets back up to his feet. He's able to scoot his butt to the cage and get up. It's a little concerning, though, when you rock your opponent and he's still able to shoot a double leg and get you down. Now, yes, he was able to get up immediately, but that first takedown shot is concerning, especially you're fighting a guy like Makhachev, who that's what he's known for, taking his opponents down and holding them down. I like Islam a lot in this fight, and it's really his fight to lose.
1,467 total votes on Tapology, 83% Makhachev, 70% by decision. The 17% that have Dober, 72% by knockout. Adriano Martins did it. It could happen. For me, it's a pop and popcorn fight. Again, I know you like Makhachev a lot. For me, I'm going to enjoy it for what it's worth. I look at the odds. Makhachev opened a minus 400 favorite. He's now minus 348. Dober opened a plus 330. He's now a plus 267. The fans, the money, it's all on Makhachev right now. There's some coming in on Dober, but I've got Makhachev as well. I'm going to sit back and enjoy it because if Makhachev wins, Kevin Lee next. That's what I'm going with. I think that's probably the fight to make.
Fix your legs first, Kevin, then we'll talk. I'd like to see him fight like a Michael Chandler next. I know it's never going to happen, but that's the problem for Makhachev. Like, I do think skill-wise, let's say he beats Drew Dober. I know they're not going to give him a guy like that next, but Makhachev's had these opportunities, and he's never really been able to get one. And here's the problem for him. No one in North America really knows who he is yet because he has...
Kevin Lee.
But Kevin Lee, again, I don't think he's a top 15 guy anymore at lightweight. Like, you and Chael Sonnen...
Moved up in the rankings
You
today.
And Chael Sonnen are the only people in the world
Brian Campbell.
Okay, the three of you are the only people who think Kevin Lee still has a title run left in him, maybe, or like still has a spot waiting for him in the top 15. I don't think Kevin Lee's that guy. I think Makhachev's going to be around a long time in the division. But this is the key point. Show up. That's all you have to do. You have to make it to Saturday night. You have to fight your opponent for 15 minutes, or maybe you can finish him earlier. That is the big fight for Islam Makhachev. Make it to Saturday. But I do think he can win if he does make it.
Matt, both of us going with Islam Makhachev to get the win. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks. We have 3 title fights coming up right now. So keep it locked in. As we always say with Fight Night Picks, Matt, let's get into it.